How did you identify the need for Hertility in your wider business and through your people strategy?
So we identified that we do have a slight gender imbalance in our business. There are more men than women. And that's partly due to the makeup of some of our larger teams. So we have large engineering teams and large sales team. But it doesn't mean that we don't want to continue to work on improving that imbalance. We started to do some roundtables just to discover the female experience within Capital on Tap. How could we attract and retain more women? And Hertility kind of came out of that because one of the themes that we were seeing that people were talking about a lot was, were we competitive in the market with regards to benefits that attracted women? And were we just generally supporting women and creating that inclusive environment for them? We had like a slight gap in our healthcare with regards to women's health and reproductive health, particularly in regards to that early support and diagnosis. And then that's when we thought about Hertility for that other kind of broader support for women's health.
Do you have any recommendations for HR and people leaders that are wanting to implement a benefit like this with an aim of getting buy-in from their senior leadership team?
I think it's always really difficult to influence senior people. Just always bring it back to the why. Like, why are you doing this? What are your people saying? And we didn't just introduce it as a benefit, we introduced it as a direct response to our team saying this is what we need. Obviously, even if you're a people first business and you care about people on a personal level, a business is a business and you always want to be successful and growing. And I think there's so many benefits to having a benefit like this in terms of attraction and retention, engagement, ensuring that people are well in work. Like a more diverse workforce is more successful, like it's linked to higher profitability. And if you want to attract and retain women in your workforce, you need to have benefits that suit their needs. And then finally, I think that you can't go into any conversation with senior stakeholders without a shred of data.
We're 3 months now into since the launch. How's the reaction been to the benefit so far from colleagues?
Amazing. We've had an overwhelming response to people using the benefit. So around 86% of our credits have already been used in the first 3 months, which is great. And I think around 20% of those were used within the first 24 hours. Obviously shows that there was a need for it. And it really affirmed to us as a business that this isn't just a nice to have. It's actually something that is having impact and people want to use. To see some of the results was astounding for me. Around 90% of people said that they experienced symptoms, which is crazy. Around 40% had one hormone out of range. And then something like 80% of people had an indicative diagnosis, which is just amazing to see that they then will continue to get support with that diagnosis, and we are really making an impact in their lives.
So how is this proactive and preventative support fitting alongside your private medical insurance?
Private medical insurance often is great. It offers treatment and care for when something goes wrong. But I think there are so many health conditions, especially maybe more so regarding reproductive health and hormonal health, women might need support. And just enabling and empowering women to be able to take control of their health at an earlier stage before it potentially gets to a stage where your symptoms have escalated or it becomes disruptive to your day-to-day life, your working life, is really quite powerful, actually. And so having something where, with your private medical insurance, where you can go if something's wrong is great, but also complementing it with something where you can be proactive about your own health and your own support and care, I think is really important too. And I think that's where Hertility comes in, is that they do enable people to take control of their health at an earlier stage.